It's a bittersweet day here at Casa K-Murder. Today, we are replacing my 2011 Ford Fusion Sport, also known as the Murder Mobile, with this beautiful 2019 Ford Explorer dubbed the K-Murder Exploder, this time on Ham Radio Tube. Now you might be asking yourself, Mike, why is this bittersweet? You just got a new car, you should be happy. Well, I am, I love it, but my Fusion runs great. The engine's great. I just put a new transmission in it 2 years ago, but it's getting bad. Last February, we had a big hailstorm, damaged the crap out of the car. I just replaced the windshield, but that's the problem right there, rust. This is a Michigan car. Underneath the body of this car is so rusted out, I just don't feel safe driving it anymore. I actually went to the dealership the other day to get an inspection on this car and stopped by the used car lot, and I just fell in love with this. So I've always wanted an SUV like this, and now I have one, and I'm very, very happy. So let's take you for a tour. And here it is. This is my 2019 Ford Explorer XLT. I absolutely love this. This has the bucket seats, so this seats 6. It's got really nice rims. Look at those. I love those. Keep them nice and shiny with that wet look, but I just saw this and fell in love with it. Got my antenna set up. We'll show you that in a minute. Nice tinted windows. This is a Texas car, so there's no rust. In Michigan, they salt the roads when it snows, and that salt just destroys the underbody of a car. So that's why I just don't feel safe driving the Fusion anymore. So this is awesome. It's got like all the sensors and backup cameras and everything. I'm just really, really happy with this. It drives like a dream. So let's hop inside and I will show you what I've done so far. Now, I would be remiss in not thanking each and every single one of you for watching Ham Radio Tube, especially my patrons. You guys are awesome. Without patrons, without everybody watching this channel, without you guys clicking on my Amazon affiliate links, Gigaparts, Messi and Poloni, all that stuff, this channel would not be able to happen the way it's happening right now. YouTube is my full job now, and I owe this car and everything to every single one of you guys. And I want to say from the very bottom of my heart, a very sincere thank you to each and every one of you. We just passed 40,000 subscribers the other day. I would have never guessed in a million years, starting this YouTube channel years ago, that it would be where it is now. I would be where I am now. And I'm so humbled to be able to do what I love, making ham radio videos for you guys, and being able to support myself in doing this. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. So first off, this has one of these keys, which is just totally wireless. There's sensors in there. When I want to unlock my car, I just touch the handle and we're in. I also have keyless entry here if I need it. And this button right here, it's not even a button, you just touch it and it locks the car. So you never have to take your keys out of your pocket. It's great. So here we are, the beautiful Ford Explorer. We've got the bucket seats with like a suede and a leather interior. It's all black interior on silver. I love it. Got the radio set up here. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let me show you this cluster. It's pretty awesome. So the cluster here has all kinds of stuff you can customize. So if we look at the left-hand screen, I can change that to display, trip mode, fuel economy, which I'm currently getting 19 miles a gallon. Not great, but not terrible. You got all kinds of settings in here, so you can change the screen here. I love that. On the right-hand side, you've got kind of your entertainment stuff, but you can adjust that too. Change it from AM, FM. I just leave it on Sirius Satellite on Liquid Metal, their channel 40. But we can also go to navigation, and it'll tell us, like up here, it gives us a compass. When we're driving, it'll tell us the speed limit and everything. Then we got a clock there. What else do we have? Or you have your phone navigation stuff there, so that's really cool. I just keep it on entertainment, and then obviously the speedometer there. I've got a nice navigation unit here, so this I just updated it with all the new GPS stuff for maps and stuff. I can see the satellite radio there, and my phone's connected right now. You've got all your climate controls, your audio controls. You can adjust the EQ and everything. There's the phone app, navigation, apps. When I plug my phone in here, I'll get Apple Play, but otherwise it's just whatever this is. And then settings and everything, all your EQs and Bluetooth and everything. It's just such an upgrade from, I mean, I've had my Fusion for 14 years. I bought it in like January of 2010, so over 14 years now. So I figured it's time for an upgrade. Underneath our navigation screen, we've got our volume and our media here, but we've got our AC, we've got seated heats, all kinds of controls for the AC front and back. That's all actually done. You can do it right here on the screen here, or you can adjust it down here. Dual climate zones, freaking awesome. We've got nice cup holders here. Just everything's really nice. Nice kind of leather around the shifter there. We've got a little place to hide goodies down there. Wouldn't be a K-Murder car without Lord Stanley's cup here. Big hockey fan, even though I haven't watched hockey in forever. My friend Dean Terrian, I was in a band with him in my early 20s, and he's a machinist. He made this, and this has been in every car since I was probably 21 years old. So still got that, Dean, if you're watching, which 100% you're not. Taking a look at the back, this is the second row seat, so we've got the bucket seats in here with no center console. I put these WeatherTech floor mats down, so I've got these in the front, and this also goes back to the third row seating there, which you can see those headrests fold up. All of this folds down, and I actually was camping for the eclipse, and I got to sleep in this car. I bought an air mattress from Walmart for $15 that fits perfectly in here when all these seats are folded down. I slept like a baby the last few days, way the heck out in Verde, Texas, wherever we were for the solar eclipse. So I can car camp in this now. It's freaking awesome. We've got a power tailgate. I just touch the button there. She opens all the way up. And when all the seats are up, I've got room back here for storage. You can see my radios. We'll talk about those in a minute. But these seats actually fold down stupid easy. Let me show you that. So all we have to do is grab this strap, pull this red handle, push the seat forward, pull this black handle, pull it back. They lay flat. Same thing over here. Lays flat. So much more room for activities. And same thing with these front seats. We just push the head down, fold the back down, and same thing on the other side. Just like that, Bob's your uncle, and now I have all this room for all kinds of stuff. Now we can see I do have my ham radios installed. I've got my Yaesu 891, and this is a TYT TH9800 for VHF, UHF. I've got this mounted on a Lido mount that I had in my Fusion, and I managed to get both radios on. I need to get another mic holder, figure out how to get another microphone on here, because right now the Yaesu microphone just sits in the cup holder, or realistically in between the passenger seat and the console. But I've got the VHF radio hooked up, but I don't have the 891 totally hooked up yet. I'll show you that in a minute. And Queefy, if you're watching, you're gonna laugh at this, and I kind of installed it this way just for you. But the way I installed the VHF radio, there actually isn't a spot to put a radio where I did on the Lido mount. So I actually just took the bracket that holds the head for the 9800, and I drilled a couple holes in there, and you can see I just mounted it where the 4 screws mount from the back of the Lido to this plate. So I was able to get both of them in there, because like this is pretty much the worst car in the world to install ham radio in. So I kind of had to figure a lot of stuff out, but I managed to make it happen. So let's take a look at the antenna mount, and I'll show you, we'll basically go from front to back and how I wired this stuff. So starting at the antenna, I bought a bracket from American Radio Supply that connects underneath the hood. I'll show you that in a second. The antenna is a Comet, oh gosh, what is this? CA2X4SR. Fantastic antenna. I absolutely love this antenna. And I've got amazing SWR, the way this is mounted to the truck. So let me show you how this bolts onto the underneath the hood. So all I had to do was pop up this rubber gasket here, and there you can see it's just one bolt that attaches this. There's like a star washer underneath this to kind of bite into the paint and give it a good ground connection. Like I said, the SWR on this thing is freaking just like as perfect as you could ever want it to be. And then you just put this back on, and here's where it starts to get dodgy. Here is the engine compartment, and there's really not a good way, like you can access back there if I were to drill a hole, but I haven't been able to find any grommets that weren't just totally sealed up to pass wires for power and the antenna wire through the car. So for the antenna wire, I actually just ran it down the fender here. From the mount, I've got the coax, it's just RG316, going down there, and I actually wrapped it around this bracket here, and I just gently forced it in this crack. And then we open the door here. You can see the coax going down there, and I've got a little zip tie right on that thing there just to hold it. And then I brought it down, and then I pulled off this panel, and it's just running underneath where it says exploder here. And then here we can see the coax, and I just tucked it under the seat there, into the back seat. You can kind of see there's the coax right there, and it's just going under the floor mat, up here underneath the second row seating, underneath the third row seating back there. And for speaker, you guys are gonna love this. I'm using an MFJ clear tone speaker model 281, and I just have it hanging from the bracket on the little like coat hanger thing here by the window. These speakers are amazing. They are so loud, so clear. They're like 20 bucks. They're not powered. They just plug right into the external speaker on your radio. And then I just put the wire, I just tucked it here in the liner, ran it all the way back, and then you can kind of see it's just draped down. I haven't figured out a good way to get it tidied up the rest of the way. And then where that power pole is, that was the end of the speaker wire that came with the speaker, so I just put more wire on there and a power pole, and that's connected to the little 1/8" jack into the radio there. And then we go to the very back, and there you can see there's the VHF radio, and here's the 891 just sitting here right now. I haven't permanently mounted them, but it works. So here's the coax, and for power, I do what everybody says to not do, and you know what? I've been doing it with my Fusion for the last, well, since I've been a ham in 2016. I've got a 12-volt socket right here, and this, I don't even know where I got this socket, but it had 2 outlets coming from it, so I just cut it. I put a 20-amp fuse in the in the lighter and power pulls, so we're going from the 12-volt socket and to the VHF radio. Now, when I want to run HF, I haven't gotten HF figured out completely yet, and we're going to go back up front and talk about that in a minute. But I've got the 891 wired. The microphone wire and the head wire just run the same way as the other one. They just go on the other side of the car. But I can't figure out how to get my ATOS mounted on the hood like my VHF radio. So what I'm doing right now, if I want to use the ATOS, I just don't have it on the car. I'll just unscrew this coax, plug it into the 891, and then I'll unscrew the antenna up front for VHF, screw the ATOS into there, and then I'll plug power. I don't use the car's power for my HF radio. I've always just used a battery, so I usually just plug this into Big Geek and use it that way, and that's pretty much it. But let's go back up front and talk about that mount again. So when I first bought this car, I instantly needed to put my ham radio in it, and I did. I just put a mag mount on the roof, and I just kind of threw my VHF radio in there just sitting on the dash. It was horrible, but I needed a radio. So it was actually on Ham Radio Crash Course Discord after chat on Saturday, and I was telling everybody I just bought this car and mentioning how incredibly horrible it is to find a place to mount an antenna. I didn't want to put anything on the tailgate. I'm not drilling holes in the roof. It's not going to happen. Don't suggest it. I'm not asking for your suggestions. I don't want them. Feel free to leave them in the comments if you want, though. I don't care. I really wanted to have these hood mounts for the truck. So my plan was to put the VHF antenna on one side and my ATOS antenna on the other. And a couple people suggested some mounts. I had scoured the internet previous to even being on the Discord, and I'd seen these mounts. So this is the mount that I have. Comes from American Radio Supply, and it's just a solid hunk of metal, and it comes with a star washer and some really horrible instructions for mounting. So I bought 2 of these. And then I also bought from Diamond, I believe, the VHF, the SO239 connectors to mount onto this. I'm like 85% happy with these mounts. The hole, this hole right here, now these are designed for either NMO or a UHF style mount. This hole is too big. I had to actually get a washer and drill it out a little bit so I could fit the SO239 in the hole without it coming through. So it was kind of a pain in the butt to have to do that. Like, it didn't just work out of the box. I had to modify it. So underneath the mount, there's a washer, and then I can screw this nut down and get a nice solid connection there. Another issue with this mount, and they're only like 30 bucks, but this is specifically made for this car. It's not quite level. You can see looking at the front of the car, it's kind of tilted towards the car, and if you're looking at the side of the car, it's kind of tilted a little bit backwards. So it's not as precision machined as I would have expected, but maybe for 30 bucks, you get what you pay for. There's like no other mounts on the internet for this that I can find for this truck. The other thing I didn't notice, this is only for the left side. I didn't even think about it. But the way these are kind of angled and stuff, when I put this fits on the other side of the car, but when I put it on and I put the ATOS on, it was leaning like probably 30 degrees forward. That ain't happening. So there is no right side vehicle mount for this bracket. So I'm kind of stuck either unscrewing this and putting the ATOS on, or until I can find a right-hand side. I might have to go to a machine shop. There's one about 40 miles down the road, and give them this and see if they can mirror it so I can have it on the other side for the ATOS. I did put this on the other side, and I put the ATOS on it with no grounding, no bonding, nothing. The ATOS tuned up perfectly. I got great SWR on like every band 40 through 10, so I shouldn't have any problems with that, but I gotta find a way to mount this. And I'm pretty much stuck mounting it on the hood because I can't put it on the back. Let me show you. So here's a Diamond K400 mount that I used on my Fusion, and these are amazing mounts, but they're kind of big, and the contour of this tailgate leaves a little bit to be desired if you want to put an antenna on it. One, the antenna's not going to be very high. You know, the whip would probably start right about the top, which I suppose would be okay. But this right here would probably be the only place I could put this, except for the fact that it's got this tab on the side that would hit the light there. So there's pretty much nowhere. I'm not going to put it on the glass. I can't put it here. I can't really put this anywhere. I'm not going to put it on the door. That just looks stupid. It's not going to happen. So I'm kind of left with the front under the hood mount like I have for the VHF. So I don't know what I'm going to do for a permanent HF antenna installation. I'm not overly concerned about it. It's not a big deal to unscrew the VHF antenna, screw the ATOS in there, and then change the coax from both radios. That might take, if it took 2 minutes, I'm taking my time. It's not a big deal. The other thing about putting the K400 mount here, like, yeah, you can see it kind of fits, but then I'd have to screw these in to the paint here, which I kind of don't want to do. And I've actually got really good continuity from the body to some other parts of the frame by bolting it up front. And I just don't know if it'd even be worth putting this here. Then I would probably have to do a lot more like grounding and bonding and stuff. And I honestly just can't be bothered with all that stuff. And I know there's going to be a lot of naysayers out there. Oh, you should just do the grounding and bonding and all that crap. It's just, I don't do enough radio from the car for me to care about it that much, in all honesty. But let me show you the SWR of my VHF antenna with just the way it is. Again, no grounding, no bonding, no nothing. Take a look at this. Here's 2 meters. Probably about 1.3, 1.4 across the whole band. Check this out. I even have 1.25 meters, even though I don't think this antenna is meant for 1.25 meters. I can do that. And then let's take a look at 70 centimeters. So look at this. We're 10 megahertz, plus or minus 440. Just absolutely perfect SWR on 70 centimeters as well. It's awesome. So now we're going to take a look at the 891. I unscrewed the VHF antenna and put the ATOS on there, and I'll just show you how this tunes up with no grounding and bonding. So it works enough for me. So we'll hit the tune. There it goes. The antenna's raising up. And there we go. It just tuned 40 meters. Just like that. Let's try 30 meters. Done and done. 20 meters. Done. 17 meters. Done. 15 meters. So it did get hung up on 15 meters. It's kind of resetting right now, but now it should be tuning. It might go above or beyond. Nope, we got it. Just there, 15 meters, no problem. This isn't perfect. I have had to like manually adjust some of the tunings, but here's 12 meters. It's getting hung up there on 12 too. Yeah, see, it's got to rethink where it is. So not a perfect ground for this, but it will work. Just watch. And there it goes, retuning. Because the ATOS doesn't know where it is. Sometimes it has to go through this. And there we go. We just tuned on 12 meters. No problem there. Well, a little bit of a problem, but it still worked. And 10 meters. Yeah, see, it's getting hung up on 10 meters. It's not moving up and down. There it goes. Tuned on 10 meters and 6 meters. 6 meters, it always is wonky. Like the antenna's raising right now, but now it's finding itself. Now it's going down and it should get a perfect tune. Or close enough. There you go, just like that. So is my HF solution perfect with the ATOS and this mount? No, but it's good enough for me, and that's all that matters. I did a POTA activation with this antenna sitting right here on 17 meters the other day, and I got out, it worked. So for now, this is what I'm gonna have to deal with until I can figure out a better solution for the ATOS, because I don't want to mount it anywhere other than on the other side of my hood. So for now, this is how I'm rocking ham radio in the K-Murder Exploder. Until I can figure out a better solution to get the ATOS on the other side of the car, I'm just gonna have to unscrew it, and so be it. But you know what? It works, and that's good enough for me. If anybody can figure out a way to get a mount like this, if you found one, I've scoured the internet, I don't think they exist. But if you can figure out a link or a product to put on the other side of the car to mount the ATOS, drop a comment below. Don't leave a link. Links get flagged by YouTube, and I never check the flagged comment, so I'll never see it. But yeah, that's that's the solution now. Thanks so much for watching my journey through the car and how I installed the ham radio stuff and all that. I hope you found it enjoyable. That's it for now. My name is Mike, K8MRD. Thanks so much for watching Ham Radio Tube 73.